Hey everyone, welcome again. This time, I'm going to install an external USB wireless card for my Windows XP PC. Laptops typically come with a built-in wireless card, which is what allows them to connect to Wi-Fi. But the one that came with this computer doesn't work at this time, and I happen to have a Belkin USB adapter that I had bought back sometime in the early 2000s. So I'm going to install it on this computer so I can connect to the internet this way. Installing won't be as easy as just plugging and using, but luckily, I also have the CD that I'll need to install the necessary drivers to get this adapter to work. So I'll go ahead and insert the CD into the computer CD drive, and the setup should start up automatically. As a quick side note, I'm recording my computer screen with a program called Cam Studio, which is an open source screen recording program. This is my first time using it actually, but it was originally released in the early 2000s, and I figured it would work well with Windows XP. The version that is available from the official website has had reports of malware, however, so I had to download this version from the SourceForge website, which is a website where you can find many open source programs. The installer from SourceForge seems to be safe to use as of this video. Now that the initial menu has loaded, I'm going to click the install button here, and it should start installing the wireless adapter shortly. Anyway, the screen recording seems slow, and that's probably due to the computer just being too slow to screen record and install at the same time. But when I was installing the wireless adapter, the screen animations and menus did load faster than what's shown in this video. I also partially edited this video using Windows Movie Maker, which is a built-in movie editing program that was included in Windows XP. This is another program that I'm using for the first time, even though it was available for multiple versions of Windows up until Windows 10, but I wanted to see what the editing with this program was like. I'm still a beginner with video editing in general, but I will try to make a video about the editing process at a later date as well. This card that I'm installing is a wireless G card, which was a Wi-Fi standard that was introduced in 2003 and provided much faster connection speeds than the previous wireless B standard, up to 54 megabits per second for wireless G, as opposed to only 11 megabits per second with wireless B. Of course, in practice, it practically never reaches that high, but it was still a performance improvement and helped make Wi-Fi a much more convenient option to connect to the internet at the time. In my experience with this wireless card, I'm able to get about 5 megabits per second on average, which is terrible by modern standards, but it was a good speed in the early and mid 2000s. Modern websites will load in about 4 to 5 seconds, but large software downloads will take almost a half hour to download. Back when wireless G standard was the dominant Wi-Fi standard in consumer devices, most homes had DSL or cable internet connections that were between 1 and 5 megabits per second. So wireless G routers and adapters were a good choice to connect your computers to the internet. Like the wireless B standard, wireless G uses the 2.4 GHz band, so this wireless adapter will only be able to connect to Wi-Fi networks that use that band, and not networks that use the 5 GHz band. In a typical home, the 2.4 GHz band is able to cover a larger area and transmit information through walls more easily than the 5 GHz band. But the 5 GHz band is typically less crowded and faster. Now in this screen, the setup program is asking me to choose a location to install the Belkin software. So I hit next to install in the default recommended location. Wireless G is backwards compatible with wireless B, meaning that G adapters could connect to B routers, and B adapters could also connect to G routers. Wireless G would later be superseded by the wireless N standard in 2009, which increased the theoretical connection speed up to 600 megabits per second. The reason I chose to make this video was because I actually haven't installed anything by CD in several years. Now that everything seems to be online websites and app stores, and hardware is mostly plug and play nowadays too. So I thought it would be interesting to revisit how installing devices was in the old days. At this point, the setup program is asking me to plug in the wireless adapter. And after a few seconds, this will bring up the Windows New Hardware Wizard and use that to install the drivers. That's another thing I haven't seen lately, which is programs that help you do something calling themselves wizards. I personally haven't seen it in Windows 10 or Windows 11, but I feel that it was common back in Windows XP. At this point now I'm just waiting for the new hardware wizard to load up, which it should shortly. And here it is. So now I hit next, and it will start looking for the necessary drivers within the CD that's still in the CD drive. And after waiting a little bit, there is a new pop-up that's going to come up that's going to ask me for the Windows logo certification. And I just click continue anyway on this one. And I'm going to get the same pop-up again, but this time for a virtual adapter that I installed as part of a different program called VirtualBox. So I hit continue anyway again. And then when the drivers are done installing, which should happen shortly, now I can click finish. And then I'll have to wait a little bit longer, and soon I can get the notification that the drivers have finished installing. And now I can click finish. And the setup should be finished. In a few moments, I'm going to get another pop-up from the taskbar on the lower right hand corner of the screen, and it will say that it has detected nearby wireless networks. So when I see here it is, that's the pop-up. When I see this pop-up, I will know that the wireless adapter is working properly. But when I open the native Windows Wireless Network connection menu, I get a message saying that I have to use Belkin's utility program to connect to a Wi-Fi network. So I go here to the Start menu, and I look for the Belkin Wireless Network utility. And from there, I can see what networks I'm able to connect to. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and also that notification icon so you don't miss the next videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.